Mark Ray Mundy for MMAfighting.com here in San Jose with Leslie Smith, who will be in the corner of Kerry Melendez at Bellator 206 on Saturday night here at SAP Center. Leslie, aside from being in Kerry's corner, you had some news come down this week. You had filed a complaint against the UFC with the National Labor Relations Board earlier this year, and I guess this week there was news that that complaint was dismissed. Can you explain what exactly happened?
Yeah, we got the dismissal letter from the NLRB. We had originally gotten a finding that our claim had merit, a preliminary merit finding by Region 4, but then they pulled that back and DC decided to advise on it, and that's why they pulled the decision back. And now they just decided to dismiss the charges, dismiss the claims, which is unfortunate. But we kind of had a hunch as soon as the political strings started moving when it got pulled to DC. There is a good chance that this was going to happen. And we're not done yet. We're still going to appeal it, and it's going to go right back to DC. So it's going to be kind of like going through a swamp for the next couple of months, probably, dealing with that, because it just came from DC, even though it was Region 4. So it'll be rough for a little bit, but we'll get through the swamp, and then eventually we'll make progress again.
And for those that don't know, the complaint was kind of twofold. The first one was that you claimed that the UFC retaliated against you for letting you go prior to what would have been the final fight on your deal. And the second claim is that UFC fighters are employees, not independent contractors. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And the NLRB, originally they had in their merit determination Region 4 said that we were both well, they didn't say that we're statutory employees, but they said that my claim had merit, that we are statutory employees. And so what happened with this dismissal is they kind of backdoored it. They said that because they found no evidence of retaliation, then they aren't even going to look at the employee status. So actually the bright side of that is that Project Spearhead is still going ahead just like it was before. We're still collecting cards. The office didn't say anything about our employee status because that I feel like they're passing the buck on it. They don't want to have to deal with that because we have a very, very, very strong claim to employee status. So we're still collecting the cards. We still need 30% of the cards signed, and then we can go ahead and have an election after that.
So just to be clear, the NLRB didn't determine that UFC fighters are not employees. They haven't made any determination. So that quest is still ongoing, correct?
Exactly. They were able to make the decision that I wasn't retaliated against, and by making that decision, they decided that they don't need to investigate the employee issue at all. So that means that we can still get the fighters more control of their careers and a higher share of the revenue through collective bargaining. The door hasn't been shut on that. We just have to get the fighters to sign the cards. I've been doing as much as I can on my own out in the public, but the cards are totally confidential, and we need all the fighters to sign them.
In addition to moving forward with Project Spearhead and appealing with the NLRB, is there anything else that you guys can do and that you can do to continue on this path?
Yeah, we are definitely working on getting the word out in different ways. We're going to be exploring a lot more different options, so there's going to be more news coming from Project Spearhead coming soon.
It seems like you're getting some mainstream attention from media outlets on this journey that you're on, kind of fighting for fighters' rights and a fighters' union. I saw there was an article in Jacobin magazine, and you guys did a TV show, right? Samantha B recently. You filmed the show?
Yeah, Samantha B came out, and man, what a great show that is. All about strong women, and it was great to get to be a part of that. And they have a huge base, so I'm excited about what's going to happen when the word about what's going on. I feel like a lot of this is just stuck inside of the MMA bubble, and we accept it. I mean, we're not accepting it, but we understand because we know that MMA is kind of the Wild West. But other people outside of the MMA bubble, they hear about this and they're like, what? Are you serious? This $7 billion company doesn't provide health insurance for its athletes? Like, that doesn't make sense. They make people pay for their own luggage? Like, what? So once it gets out of the MMA bubble, a lot more people are going to take a lot more interest and notice how crazy it is the way that the fighters have been treated for so long.
You were also in New Jersey this week at a panel at Rutgers. What was that experience like, and what was the panel about exactly?
Well, the panel at Rutgers, it was basically about the case and what's been going on. It was Rebecca Given, Lucas Middlebrook, and Wilma Liebman from the NLRB. She was the former head of the NLRB. So it was really cool to get to meet Wilma and get to be on a panel with her. And it was informative. I learned a lot. We talked to some law students about what the situation was, and hopefully everybody who was there listening, it'll help them bridge the gap of there's a big gap between people's understanding of what the law can do for them and what the law can do for people. And I think that gap is bigger in MMA than in a lot of different places. People don't always realize that there's legal ways to go about getting things, and so I think that this case is going to make a big difference in that, and I appreciate everyone who's been studying the case and following along, and hopefully it's going to make a difference in the future.
And just last thing, Leslie, you're no longer with the UFC, obviously. What is next for you as far as fighting goes? We know you're fighting for a UFC Fighters Union, but what about you? What about your career?
I don't have anything scheduled yet. I don't have any contracts in the works right now. I'm here at Bellator. I got to say, I love it here. I'm definitely eyeing the women's divisions over here at Bellator. It would be very fun to get to do that. But I'm also keeping my options open. I'm not desperate. I know what my worth is, and I've made a really big deal about the fighters recognizing their worth and demanding their worth. And so while I'm definitely not trying to walk into Bellator with demands or anything like that, after making such a big deal about people getting a higher value, then I wouldn't want to go and lower my value by fighting for anything that's too small. So we'll see what the future holds. I'm training every day. My training hasn't changed. I'm actually having a lot of fun. I might even be having more fun with my training right now because I'm able to focus even more on the mat. So whenever I do get back into the cage, I'm going to be dangerous.
And notice you said divisions with an S at the end.
I did say divisions with an S at the end. Well, they've got a 25 division and they have a 45 division. I fought in both of those. The majority of my time has been spent at 135, but I've got 2 fights at 125. One of them was a title fight, and I've had a couple wins at 45 as well, at least one. So yeah, I'm definitely eyeing them both. I mean, I walk around, I'm like 153 right now. So I could really go either way.
Thank you, Leslie, very much.
Thank you.